We're live. Hello, everyone. I am
Hi.
I am Anthropomantic Fiend. I do horror-related things on the internet, and we will have one other guest with us shortly. But for now, we have these two lovely people. If they would like to introduce themselves, I'm going to start with Marty to the right of me.
Oh, if you don't know who I am the Trash Picture Show. I review action figures, I review horror, sci-fi, and I also live on a pimple on the edge of Europe called Ireland. So,
That's
Felicia.
cool. Okay. Uh, I'm Felicia. I run a channel called Girly Gore, and I live in Brooklyn, New York. What else? What should I say? Let's see. I run Horror Movie Club on my channel. Anthro Martin, is going to be our guest tomorrow. We're talking about vampires.
Yep.
And yeah, happy to be here. I don't think I've ever been on here before, right?
No, I've been on your channel once last year, and regular visitor to Horror Movie Club, but I don't think you've been on my channel before.
Well, I am delighted to be here. And
Wonderful.
happy Channelversary.
Thank you.
What was your first video?
My first ever
Starting us
video.
off strong.
Yep. So before I even started in on doing the horror thing, one of the first ever videos I uploaded was I was in a cover band at the time, and we covered Evil by 45 Grave. They're the ones who do Party Time and Return of the Living Dead.
Wow, that is like so niche. I can't even.
Yeah. But the drummer from 45 Grave left a very nice comment on that video, and I flipped out. Yeah.
That's
nice.
so sweet. How old are you? You're so young. So I'm like,
in
my head, you're just a baby.
Yeah, I was 17 at the time.
Aw, that's so nice you commented. I love that.
Yeah. And then I think I watched that same summer I ended up watching the creepy channel crawl that Horror Addicts organized. And a bunch of people that I've met, I all met through that, including I discovered your channel through that, I think.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So it does work.
It does work. But Gory B Movie and Horror Addicts hosted like a little interview with two other people. I think it was Angsty Mantis and one other channel, but like it was these really, really young reviewers, and it was just like I'm already like 9 years older than both of these people, and they already have full-blown horror movie reviews channels. What have I been doing my entire life? I filmed like a review that afternoon and then I just didn't stop.
That's so funny, because in my head, I mean, like, same, but I don't think I started my channel till I was, let's see, I don't know, like 26 or something like that. Is that right? I don't even know. When did you start your channel, Other Martin?
I think 2016. I kind of started it for a hobby. Well, there's a whole story behind that, but I'm not going to get into it. I think I got to know you, Antro, through Queenie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Queenie. It was Queenie was doing a stream, and I was like, "Who's the fantastic lad with the fantastic hat?" I gotta know this man, so I was like, I gotta check this dude out.
Yep. I met a lot of people through Queenie, and I met a lot of people through Dave Maggot.
Yeah, it's a shame Queenie doesn't do the volume they used to, because they done some fantastic. They still do fantastic content, but just obviously not as much as they used to. And I miss the hangouts and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, stuff still goes on, but Queenie's just got life stuff to deal with.
Yeah.
As do we all. But I did want to highlight this comment quickly. I think it's
Hey,
important to know.
what's up, D? Also, I finally realized that I can look at the chat without going to the actual YouTube video.
Oh, yes.
I was switching back and forth, and now I'm like, oh, I've never done where are we StreamYard before.
Yes.
This is cool.
And yes, thank you to Now It's Dark and Phil's Creepy Videos as well.
Hey, Phil.
And Trenchy, the Soulless Trenchcoat. A lot of friends in here.
Nice.
So, yes, Max saying it's almost the time of year for a sequel to one particular stream. Last year in September, I did a stream called The Great Commercial Nightmare, and myself, Tristan Collects, and Max and the Soulless Trenchcoat all watched the weirdest and most disturbing commercials we could possibly find. We made a playlist and we reacted to all of them together. It was
Wait, that's fun. I love that.
It was very.
What were they? Like, what were the companies that
Let
made them?
me think. I think Little Baby's Ice Cream is one of them.
Oh, I was just about to that bit where that guy is just eating the ice cream out of his head.
Yeah.
That's a creepy fucking commercial.
It's really creepy. One of my favorites is the Panda Cheese commercials where someone will offer somebody Panda Cheese and be like, hey, do you want some Panda Cheese? And the person's like, no, I'm fine. And then just this huge panda suit, this person in this panda suit just shows up and just starts smashing everything in sight. It's very chaotic.
I think we were on a stream where we watched that a separate time, and you were in fucking stitches, and I'd never seen you kind of just cut loose laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So that's all it takes, a dude in the panda suit glittering the shit out of someone for you to fucking go absolutely ballistic.
It's just so out of left field. That's why it's so funny.
Speaking of left field,
yes.
I tuned into your channel there. And I was like, okay, Andrew's got something up on Poseidon, the fucking remake of the Poseidon adventure. Wait, what? I tuned into the wrong channel. Has he had a breakdown? What the fuck is going on here? What prompted that?
All right, so a while back, there's a really great thrift store here called the Fat Rabbit, and they had a bunch of movie stuff. I posted a photo a while back. They had a great new t-shirt design that's like the old poster artwork for The Shining, but it says Fat Rabbit on it. That's one of my favorite t-shirts I own now. But they have a lot of movies and things for cheap, and one set they had was 4 fantasy adventure movies for 50 cents. So I was like, I gotta get that.
That's a deal.
And what it turned out to be is 4 Hallmark mini-series of fantasy and adventure.
I would love to know more. What were the titles?
So I've reviewed 3 of them now. The 4th review is on its way. One of them is The Curse of the Mummy. No, not The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. The Curse of King Tut's Tomb, which is the most inaccurate depiction of Egyptian mythology I've ever seen in my life.
What were you expecting from the Hallmark Channel?
I mean,
they don't have a budget. They don't know what they're doing.
No, very fair.
I mean, the Asylum would probably produce a better fucking King Tut's Tomb movie.
Yeah,
for Christ's sake.
I mean, they'd be dedicated to the horror aspect at least. Then Merlin's Apprentice with Sam Neill, which is actually pretty fun. The Poseidon Adventure, the miniseries remake, which has crap, what's his name? You know what? I have my notes right here.
It left such an impact he can't even remember who the fuck it is.
I can't remember. I know who this person is.
Oh.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I've seen Merlin's Apprentice.
Yes.
I think Yeah, I think I've seen this before. I recognize this poster.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was a series on, if I'm not mistaken, ITV, either ITV or Channel 4 back in the day. I remember seeing it when it first came on.
Yeah,
And
it definitely looks
who
familiar.
who was the evil kind of bitch in Sleepy Hollow that turned out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Miranda Richardson.
Miranda
Miranda Richardson
Richardson
plays
is Billy.
Morgan in that, right?
Yeah, she's the lady of the lake who is for some reason the villain, and
Yeah.
she's like ecologically motivated because she's like, all the people in King Arthur's court have been poisoning my water, and that's a whole thing. Also, there's a talking pig for no reason. It's fun. Uh, but the Poseidon Adventure remake stars Adam Baldwin, who was Jane on Firefly, as well as Hamilton in the last season of Angel. The
Hmm.
he's
He
like
was
the guy in the suit who is like takes over as like the big representative of Wolfram and Hart in the last season of Angel.
Oh, okay.
he was also Garber in Predator 2. Mr.
Ah,
Garber in
yes.
Predator 2.
But yeah,
That's
so
great.
I decided to review all of those because I had like decided I was going to do like a side series on fantasy when I wanted to take a break from horror. Granted, two of these things are adventure and not fantasy, but I reviewed them anyway because I wanted to review them and rank them the way I do other things. But the last one, which is the review that's in the pipeline right now, I still need to finish editing it, is Blackbeard, which I think is actually the screen debut of Jessica Chastain.
No way.
Yeah, she's really good in it too.
That's wild.
And it's like the only miniseries in that set that doesn't egregiously overuse bad CGI. It's like a solid period piece. So
So are you planning on doing this as a long form kind of side series?
for a while, I mean, for a while I was like, okay, I'm probably going to take a break from this again after those things. But then I was like, there's this really low budget fantasy series that I just found on Amazon Prime one time called Mythica, and there's a stupid amount of those movies, and I want to review them. It's like someone made a film series out of their D&D campaign and decided to crowdfund it. It's delightful.
Well, obviously, I have to Google that right now.
Yeah.
Mythica.
So is the criteria of what you review, it has to be kind of low budget, or are you kind of open to reviewing?
No, I'm very much open to anything. Like I reviewed I have a review for an almost no budget Frankenstein movie in the works, and I reviewed Doctor Sleep right before that. For the fantasy thing, it's mostly been more obscure stuff. But the other thing I want to review at some point is the mini series of Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, because I love that book. It's one of my favorite books, but I've never seen the mini series.
Um, I'm okay. Just quickly because I want to kind of do a two-pronged thing. First off, I would try, if I could, I would implore you to check out a Disney movie that gets overshadowed by Black Cauldron that
Ooh.
is way darker. It's called Dragon Slayer. Nobody talks about it. It's fucking amazing. Peter McNeil is in it, and it's incredibly dark. It's like if you think like imagine a kind of imagine Sleeping Beauty, but everything goes wrong and the opposite happens in Sleeping Beauty. Check out Dragon Slayer. I implore you to do that. Also, I'm going to be interested to see, do you intend on reviewing Netflix's Sandman? Because I think
Ooh.
I'd, I'd be excited to get your opinion on it because I know you're like old school kind of hardcore Sandman fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking lovingly over at all the comics on my bookshelf right now, but yeah, I'm 3 episodes into Sandman right now. I'm loving it. Uh Queenie is also talking about doing just a Sandman live stream and having a bunch of guests on to discuss it, so I might be a part of that, but yeah, love Sandman.
No,
Is that Is that like
Oh, sorry,
sci-fi or
Felicia.
also horror, or like what is it?
So it's like dark fantasy, and it really spans a bunch of different genres because it focuses on the endless, who are like all these different beings that represent different, just
Desire, death, dreams. Essentially, basically, Felicia, have you ever heard of an author called Neil Gaiman? He's mainly known for
Mm-hmm.
doing graphic novels, and this is like Sandman's kind of his magnum opus. Sorry, I jumped in there,
Wow.
intro, but it's a fantastic, very avant-garde kind of story.
Mhm.
But if you're into, did he base him off the lead singer of The Cure, Antro?
I mean, there's definitely some influence from like a lot of like goth aesthetics. Like I have a Funko Pop of Death, who's my favorite character, sitting over here, so I'll just grab her and show her off for a moment.
Please.
Well, it's essentially, it's a comic book adaptation of the first two volumes of Sandman, and yeah, Gaiman. No,
Ooh.
it's one of these. That's wicked, man.
Yeah.
I think Gaiman said himself that he was never sure that Sandman could be transferred to the big or small screen. I think ever since Mirror Mask, he was kind of like he felt a bit burnt.
I mean, yeah, Mirror Mask, I have not seen it. I feel like it just suffers from not great CGI. Kara's here.
Hello.
Hey, Kara.
Hello.
Oh,
Howdy. Hopefully
hello.
I'm not too late.
Oh, you're totally good.
Wait, can I ask if the 2017 film The Sandman, starring Haley Duff and Tobin Bell, is also based on the comic book?
I don't think Neil Gaiman would have
No.
allowed that.
No.
Haley Duff? Clearly.
But yeah, it spans all kinds of genres. Like there's a really great story in there. It's one of my favorites. I think it won an award. It's called A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it actually follows like Shakespeare and his performing company putting on A Midsummer Night's Dream for the actual like fairies in the story,
Huh.
and them watching and giving their commentary. And meanwhile, like Dream Sandman is there kind of overseeing the whole thing.
I do love the Preludes and Nocturnes is brilliant because it does kind of cherry pick some mainstream DC characters and
Yeah.
puts them into some absolutely outrageous kind of scenarios. And it's Gaiman's probably one of the best kind of writers out there. I'm really sad. He kind of he kind of relinquished control over American Gods, which was a
Yeah.
fantastic fucking series. Um, Orlando Jones left because he didn't like he had been helping write the African American characters for ages, and they brought in a white writer, and the white writer didn't like the fact he was writing, so they fired him because of it. It was like very publicized. So.
Yeah. But Kara, since you just got here, would you like to introduce yourself? I'm sure most people here know who you are, but please.
I'm horrible at introductions, but I'm over at Horror Retrospective. I'm on a temporary break. Hopefully, I should be back in October for Vlogoween. In the meantime, you can catch me at Horror Retrospective, same as my screen name. I have a lot of experimental shorts and film reviews if you're into really old stuff or just wacky stuff. So I don't really watch too much mainstream.
That's fair.
It's nice to meet you. I don't think we met before.
I don't believe so, no. But nice to meet you.
Hello, the Gray Man. Thank you. And thank you, Dee. I'm very honored to hear that I'm an inspiration for you and your channel.
Aw, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a good feeling just because we're doing our own thing. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt or hijack.
Not at all.
No, I was just gonna say it's always a good thing just when somebody says that they look up to you or they like your work. Maybe not the best verbiage, but we really don't, as presenters ourselves, we really don't realize how we influence other people. So it's always a good feeling, at least for me, just knowing like, hey, I inspired so and so or so and was inspired just right now by you, Anthro.
Yeah.
God help the poor bastard who's inspired by me. That's all I'm fucking saying.
No, honestly, like I've been curious about getting into stop motion, so
I look, it's a hobby. I like it. I'm getting better. I'm learning. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's not like I'm not Phil Tippett. I'm certainly not Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
But I do it because I love it.
This iPad doesn't function properly anymore because it has too many stop motion animation experimental projects on it.
Have you posted any of them?
I think I posted like a very brief. I've used like stop motion as a tiny effect in some of my videos. Like,
oh, okay.
Like I did a little thing for. It was like a belated entry to something Nightwatch Zone was doing, where I quoted Dracula and did the spider spinning his web for the unwary fly line, and did a little spider crawling across my floor.
Great. Question for you. How long did it take to make to do that, and how long was the clip after?
Excuse me.
It was a stupidly short clip, so probably not that long for that one, but some of my stop motion.
Oh, honest to God, I mean, like fucking, I enjoy doing it, but sometimes trying to get the frame and the motion right, it's like I'd rather get a prostate exam than Captain fucking Hook than continue fucking doing this. But like, you know.
Yeah. And,
I get it.
Yeah, my pride and glory though is over on his new channel is Hey It's Steve, but Evil Stevel did a little anthology movie called Scarlet Cinema that was a collaboration with a bunch of different YouTubers making movies, and I did a short film in one of those called The Formula, and I did a transformation effect using a stop motion app where like my hair covers my face and then it comes back and I have a monster face, and that
That's cool.
Yeah, that was kind of tedious to make, and figuring out how to do the angle correctly was hard because the stop motion app wouldn't do like the thing where you can reverse the camera and just take a selfie. So I just had to set it up exactly right and take the pictures. And
like it's an arduous fucking task to say the least.
Has anyone seen Bodies?
I haven't yet. I really want to. Really funny story about that one, actually. I was reading a review of the movie, and apparently it's written by Sarah DeLappe, who wrote the play The Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was part of a little like team of student writers that got to do a program with one of the like art journal newspaper things here locally, and we went to see The Wolves, and I wrote a piece on The Wolves that got published. So when I saw that this movie was written by the same person, I got really excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never actually seen a production of The Wolves, but I've read bits of it for like for my theater students. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a fun movie. What's the basic premise for Bodies?
Basically a group of rich kids gather at a big fancy house for to like stay there during a hurricane and party, and they play a game which I know as called Murderer. Some people call it called Some people call it werewolf. Some people call it apparently bodies, bodies, bodies. But the game goes too far. But it's fun. It's funny. Like I went with a large group of people, and my cousin, who is closer to Martin's age, Anther's age, is like loved it so much, and everyone that I was with that was like 30 or above hated it. And I was like, I think this is like made for a very specific audience, and like it's really like for Gen Zers, I feel.
Yeah, the review, the piece I was reading the other day was like talking about it being about what happens to Gen Z when they lose the Wi-Fi, basically.
That's really funny. I love that. That's exactly right. And it's honestly like there are some really fun scenes. And there's some really fun scenes. It's definitely worth seeing. There's potential for you hating it, but I think at least Anther will probably like it.
I
I can't help it. My warped brain, I hear bodies, 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 which I'm not familiar with that game, but my first thing is, this sounds like it's set in a nudie bar.
No, it is not.
Neon. I'm the same, Cara. It's like you're
Yeah.
outside, like somewhere like the Titty Twister, and it's on neon sliders.
Yes, I thought I was the only one that thought that.
Yeah. Bodies, bodies, bodies. If it was made in the 70s by Jess Franco.
Right.
Oh, it would
also
have
Pete
a
Davidson
flashier
is in it.
title.
Yeah, probably.
Look, Cara, don't feel bad. Keep in mind, I'm a guy who wants to open a strip club on a submarine and call it Das Booty. Okay,
Yes,
so
I forgot about that.
Wow. What a dream.
You just have to hope the strippers don't bang their head on the ceiling or on the floor.
I just hope they don't get injured on the periscope when they're like spinning around or trying to do like the dancing and shit like that. I don't know.
They give themselves their own OB exam.
Christ.
Also, I don't think I've said hello to Professional Paranormal Research or Special Mark Productions. I don't think I've seen y'all around before, but welcome.
Yeah, Special Mark is cool. He has his own podcast. I don't know if you've ever checked in on him. Like, I believe it's called The Spoiler Room. So everyone gets together and just does their live review and thoughts on the film.
I'll definitely check it out.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Trenchy, if an octopus attacks the submarine, then it becomes a Japanese movie. Okay, that's all I'm gonna fucking say.
It's a kaiju
it becomes
movie.
a Japanese anime. That's.
Oh, that's where we're going with this.
Dude, just be happy it's me that's on and not Jen. Okay.
Jin has the raunchiest sense of humor in existence.
Oh god, I don't think I could take it.
Now I've got another sideline ideas. Marty should do a stop motion animations of his idea of this Das Booty with Harley Quinn and everybody else.
I'll see. Just hopefully it won't get me cancelled. But so 3 years, dude. What's it feel like to know that you have like an awesome channel and it's been going for 3 years and you're kind of like you've gone from stride to stride and oh my god, I sound like some arsehole doing a fucking job interview. But I'll ask anyway. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see your channel in 3 years? Where would you like to see it?
Honestly, I'm pretty happy with what it is that I'm doing right now. I mean, I'd love to continue making connections. I'd love to start doing a lot more interviews because I've met a lot of filmmakers through doing this. And I'd love to pick their brains, authors as well, playwrights, and I'd love to do a lot more interviewing. But otherwise, like, I can't say that nothing has changed because so much has changed about me and about the way I do my channel. But I want to just keep doing what I'm doing and, watching movies and discovering new things by doing that.
Martin, there's if we're on this train right now, I'm gonna hop on the train. For other people like in the chat that are just starting channels or haven't had one for very long, if you could tell yourself one thing 3 years ago today, what would it be? When you were just starting your channel, if there's something you could tell little younger Martin.
Ooh.
There's some freaks out there you shouldn't talk to.
Yeah.
There are a few of those.
Use your block button.
Yes. I mean, I was pretty handy with the block button from the start, but I had some weirdos commenting on my videos who were like,
oh god, I'm sorry.
Clearly about very specific things in horror. Like there was this one guy who kept going on about the spanking scene in Class of 1999, and I was like, just stop.
Please, no. Yeah, just gotta block people.
What would I tell myself? I mean, if I met myself at that time, just being the person I am now, I think I would just like die of shock because I've changed so much. But like, I think, I feel good because like this is kind of closer to where I wanted to see myself at that time. But yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I was a lot more introverted. I'm still introverted, but keeping a lot more things inside. And yes, like Pro Physical Media said, I'd tell myself I'm valid.
You are!
The thing is, dude, I gotta give you props because, like, you say you're introverted, but you are the most sociable and approachable individual out there. As you know, I've kind of chatted to a lot of people in this community, and not one person, by and large, the horror community is fairly friendly, but not one person has any bad kind of thing to say about you or any kind of like whenever you're like one of the top people who comes up in the horror community. Antro's fucking sound out. Antro's a cool dude. Antro's you could talk to Antro about anything. If you have a problem, talk to Antro. It's you are I think like Queenie one of these kind of fulcrum points in the community, in our community, so to speak. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your arse either. I'm just fucking. It's an observation, and we're happy and we're blessed to have you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you so much.
That's true.
This was a while ago. We went off on a few different tangents, but I did want to point out that Jin mentioned something earlier. Where was it? I'm gonna go back a ton.
If it's something my girlfriend has mentioned, you really want to fucking say it out loud on a stream, dude.
Yes, I do, because it is.
Yeah, there was one earlier I was trying not to laugh about.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you just set something off in Christian when you mentioned Mythica, so I can only picture that. But like, I didn't think anyone else knew Mythica existed for one thing, so.
If anyone knew that it existed, it'd be Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, Antro, between yourself and myself, he's a bit of a nerd. He collects fucking robot figures, for Christ's sake. What the fuck, like, Kind of dude collects action figures and puts them on fucking cabinets. Like, Jesus. Something.
Who else do I know who does that?
Yeah. What was there ever a time that you were at a crossroads with your channel? Was there ever a time that you're like, Jesus, is there any point in keeping this up? Was there did you ever think that that your hard work and what you did wasn't being appreciated, or there wasn't much point to it? Was there ever a time where you're like, fuck it, why am I doing this YouTube thing? Had you ever kind of had those moments?
Some, I mean, like, I've had those moments where, like, I never completely felt like the channel wasn't being appreciated. Like, sometimes comments will come off as disingenuous, but they still help support the channel, so I appreciate them regardless. But generally, I felt really supported. But then sometimes I would just basically make myself review something that was so bad that I would just go, is my heart really in this anymore? Why did I spend an hour this morning watching this terrible movie and review it top to bottom? Am I putting all of this effort into something that I don't really want to do?
And then edit it, and then make a thumbnail, and then upload.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you have to promote it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the reviews for the terrible things that I enjoy editing the most, because I tend to get the most chaotic in those.
Do you ever feel that your worst videos are the ones that people watch the most?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, like, I'll upload something that I'm like, ooh, that wasn't my best work. And that's always the one that, like, pops off for some reason. And I'm like, don't look at it.
Okay, I've got to ask everybody, what is your most viewed video on your channel, and why do you think that is?
Oh, mine's easy, because mine's an interview. Mine was, I interviewed, I forgot his name, David, from Terrifier, who plays Art the Clown. I interviewed him once, and it was like right as the movie was like hitting Netflix, which like neither of us even knew was happening, and pow. Definitely that one, because everyone was like so obsessed with him, which they should be. He's extremely talented. But that was crazy.
Wonderful.
It didn't necessarily translate to like a ton of subscribers, but it was like cool to get the crazy amount of views on something.
Oh yeah. What about you, Marty?
It's actually the one where I learned people love when people bitch about things. So I gotten the Kotobukiya Alien Tree statue in a huge fucking box. I mean, big fucking mail-in crate size box. And I took it out, and it was about this size. And I just ripped into this fucking thing, and people were like, because there's kind of a cult of the personality when it comes to certain brands, especially on figure collectors. They're like, they'll just lick a company's arse because, hey, we might get free stuff. I didn't get free stuff. I thought this was fucking ridiculous, and I just ripped it a new arsehole. And I was like, wait, this is like astronomical fucking viewing figures for me. And I was like, okay, so people like when you rip into things. And I kind of learned that was beneficial. That kind of helped me earlier on to realize people like negativity, which is fucked up if you ask me. But still.
Yeah. Sean is saying that his most viewed video is a video about a region-free Blu-ray player, and he's just getting endless comments about it, and he had to turn them off because it's too many, is my understanding.
Oh my god, that's funny. Oh wait, I have another one.
Ooh.
One of the first, I don't know, like the first month or two of Horror Movie Club, like years ago, we did Campfire Tales, and yes. I guess that's a hard movie to find on the internet. And so it got all these views, but it's a terrible live stream. Like it's glitching in and out the whole time, and it's got all these views. And I'm just like, please stop trying to watch. Like, it's like terrible quality. The sound's all messed up, and I'm like, stop.
Felicia, do you think people kind of tune into these kind of videos because they're like, kind of fucking dumpster fire is this? I can't fucking. It's like a car crash. I can't fucking look away.
That would be a wonderful channel for you if that's what you're interested in.
But was Campfire Tales the one like based on a bunch of like urban legends? Like it had the one about like I think that was the first...
but I think it was made for TV, so there's not a lot of copies floating around.
That was the first horror movie club I ever tuned into, but like I got cut off immediately because I was watching the 3rd season of Stranger Things with my family. And I posted that in the chat, and that's how I found out that through you that you can call Murray. You sent me the number where you can call Murray from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I no longer regret that live stream. It brought Martin to me, so that's fine then.
Yep. And I still show people that phone number all the time. It's my favorite thing to do.
Is it still running?
It's still running, but they also
Excellent.
set up another phone number where you can call Surfer Boy Pizza, like the number on the van. You can call it.
That's great. I love that. I love those details when shows like go all out like that. It's so cool.
Yeah. What about you, Kara? Do you know what your most viewed video is?
I had to cheat and go look. I don't I don't know which one it was by memory.
That is fair.
Yeah, it was one for the pet back when I was doing I guess you would call them lifestyle films, reviews for like fetish movies, things like that. But it was one in particular about that has to do with, obviously, what would you call it, like puppy play, like where yeah. So apparently that
I don't
seems
know
to be
what's that.
Like usually you the person that's on the leash, they would play a dog.
Oh, kinky stuff.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny. I think people just either clicked on it because they're like, "Oh, I know what this is," and then it's like, "No, I'm not showing scenes from the movie."
Yeah.
No, you know there was people like, "Where's the movie? Where can I watch the movie? How come she's not showing the movie?"
Yeah. Which that seems to be a trend, because like Jen up here is saying that one of their most viewed videos is their review of Bad Biology, because they have a relatively scantily clad woman in the thumbnail. And then one of Pro Physical Media's most viewed is looking at an erotic ghost story. My most viewed video is a live stream that I did with Kara and a bunch of different people a while back, which is we watched The Vampire Lovers, and yeah. I think it's because I put Ingrid Pitt and Madeline Smith in the thumbnail, but like I literally looked like what the top search terms leading to my channel were at the time, and one of them was vampire sex film. So
That's hilarious.
I thought it was because they wanted to see Ingrid Pitt's cleavage.
That's exactly why they were clicking on that video.
That is so funny. How do you even find that? Now I'm like on my analytics, like I also never look at my analytics. I'm such a bad YouTuber. It used to drive me crazy, but then I stopped looking, and now I'm much more sane.
Antro, did you see my myself and Jen's trash fire review of Sleepwalkers?
No, but I need to, because I know Jen loves Sleepwalkers.
Yes, she loves it so much she brought up the term incest roughly 56 times in the review.
Jen, why?
Is that what that movie's about?
Is that what that movie is about?
To my understanding, apparently that's how they transfer energy between each other, which I guess would still make sense, because if you're doing the horizontal mambo, you are trading energy with the other person.
This is true.
Whoa.
So I have to ask, Jen, have you read Anne Rice's Mayfair Witch books? Because those books are uncomfortable. There's more incest in those books than anything else I've ever read in my entire life.
No way.
Seriously, it's like
Andrew, if she hasn't already, she fucking is going to now, and I'm going to hear all about it, because she's so excited. Guess what she wants to review for her birthday with me? Flowers in the Attic. She
Oh,
is so
God.
fucking excited for Flowers in the Attic.
I've never read the book. I like the movie. I don't know if I just dug myself into a hole saying that.
Jen,
No, it's fine.
stop. Stop. Stop.
I love Jen though. She's a character.
Oh, Jin's a sweetheart. Absolutely chaotic, but wonderful person.
And Jen is your wife? Is that right?
No, girlfriend.
Not yet.
Girlfriend. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
No,
It'd be kind of.
you're already headed in the right direction, Marty. People are already throwing the rice.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Jen.
I figured as much. All we gotta do is just bounce from one continent to another, and we're fucking sorted. So.
Well,
I still think people are perplexed by that as well, but you know, this day and age, it works. You can make it work.
No,
so
I mean,
you're in Ireland and she's somewhere else?
Yeah, New Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico. Wow, that is long distance.
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Okay. Hey, that's hard work, and if you're making it work, that's just incredible. That means you must get along really well.
Yep, Jen's read the Mayfair Witch books and prefers Flowers in the Attic. Wow, okay.
Of course she has. Of fucking course she has.
But apparently they're also adapting the Mayfair Witch books all kind of alongside Interview with the Vampire into a TV series, and they do cross over at some point, so there's going to be kind of a shared universe thing happening on TV. But like, how are they going to adapt those
all
books?
that incest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the network that's putting these series out?
AMC.
Right.
See,
they might have some wiggle room.
That's weird because AMC has no problem with violence and such, but if you look at the likes of Breaking Bad and Walking Dead and stuff, they actually are fairly restrictive on kind of sexual content. Again, they're okay with swearing and violence, but they're not HBO. So I'm going to be interested to see how they kind of skirt around or kind of approach, because the Anne Rice is first and foremost, she does do great stories, but a lot of them have incredibly erotic sexual undertones, like no doubt whatsoever. So it's like, would AMC be the best kind of
I mean, like with the Vampire Chronicles, all of the like eroticism and like the desire is between the vampires, at least, is all done through like biting. Like part of the lore is that their plumbing does not work. That's part of the lore of the vampires. But
and it's a lot of like the sexual tension versus like actual sex.
Yeah, a lot. Whereas Mayfair Witches is it was uncomfortable to read, but I read them. I read all three of those books. But yeah, I don't know how they're gonna adapt that. But also, is Game of Thrones AMC?
No, HBO. HBO.
Gotcha. That figures, because Trenchy was saying Game of Thrones did it, but I was like, that's probably a different network. Yeah, but I don't know. This is always the thing that bothers me, because like,
yeah, I was just reading that comment.
Yeah, like
that should be their slogan, Dice. I want you to email AMC and goes, hey guys, I got a new fucking slogan for you.
Because like so much like horror, even like looking at Friday the 13th, there's a lot of like male gazy nudity stuff in that, but there's this whole thing of like, if you have sex you die, and it's just like the priorities of especially like American movies are very strange to me.
Well, they're reflecting the culture, right? Like America in general is very okay with violence, and very conservative with sexuality. Just the culture.
I I think that's BS. I mean, America is just as big a horn dog as anybody else. It's just we're so fake prudish about it. Like, oh no,
Yeah,
think about the
Yeah,
children,
that's
but
what I
other
mean.
countries have
Yeah.
nude people in their television commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything's already over sexualized. You watch music videos, you have little girls acting at least 10 years older than they already are, and they may not really understand what it is exactly that they're doing. So you're opening the gates for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting off topic, but I mean, just potentially bad things to happen to young people.
yeah. But it's just like this really weird like double standard of like over sexualizing things while not being sex positive. It's like they want
Yeah.
people to be, especially women, to be sex objects, but not actually be sex positive about any of it. It's just like
Well,
look
like
nice, don't do things.
I don't know if I don't remember the perfume, but there was a perfume campaign. I can't talk all of a sudden with Dakota Fanning, where she was still very young at the time, and she was, you know, she was sitting in a way to where there was like a flower protruding from between her legs, and she was, you know, modestly dressed, but people said, oh, that was too suggestive.
But then that's the people who are watching.
Yeah, it's on them.
That's their fucking psychology that's fucking coming into play there. It's like, you know.
I would argue that America also is really big into I don't mean to be like this is like kind of serious conversation.
Yeah.
But like the models and celebrities and all these things that we promote and like the way like our aesthetics and beauty are very like of young children.
Yeah.
And like there is like a pedophilia like
Yeah, it's
gaze
a
on
obsession.
what we used to like promote things in America, which is gross.
Like that Dice said earlier on, like beauty pageants, like
Yeah.
for young girls. That's like I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Back to this conversation in just a moment, but just wanted to say hi to Ria from Karnstein really quick. Hello. Ria is in a great metal band called Karnstein, also currently writing a comic called Carmilla's Return that's a sequel to the original book.
Whoa.
Lovely person. Please support her. And she's going to see the Carmilla play in London tomorrow, which is going to be amazing.
Wow. Is
I'm
it a new play?
I don't know. There's been a lot of different adaptations of it. I did interview the writer of one of those.
Interesting.
But yeah. Everybody go support Ria.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, another thing that came up is a lot of the kind of objectifying is very much the male gaze and just like sexualizing of women or female presenting people. But Pro Physical Media is saying, I'd love to see realistic male nudity in horror. And like, I'm just curious.
We're seeing it now.
It's happening. It's definitely happening. But like,
I mean, it's radical. It's viewed as radical, but it's happening.
My gripe is there's not enough male nudity. I mean, women have been flashing for years. I'm like, what? Are men embarrassed?
Yeah, I remember that was why I was one of the things I loved about Midsummer was that moment where the boyfriend is running around naked outside and he's just so vulnerable. And I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen a male running around in a horror movie naked, like terrified. Like I was like, I've just never really seen that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Not terrified. I mean, I've seen it in a threatening manner, like not like in a predator way, but Julian Sands in Warlock 2. I mean, he has a full frontal scene.
Yeah, I guess I mean like the naked victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
One thing I will say is there's a movie I like to bring up a lot called Blood of the Tribbids. It's a very low budget movie. It's very much like a take on a lot of the like 70s lesbian vampire movies that were usually like really beautiful but also kind of exploitative. But it's kind of taking that and really turning a lot of the tropes on their head in this way I think is really progressive. And one of those ways is this movie has more penises in it than I've ever seen in any other movie in my entire life. And like there is still female nudity in like these intimate scenes between the vampires, but like there's also just these moments of just these men being tortured in the exact same ways you would only ever see women tortured in like the same scenes in a 70s movie. There's also a scene where a guy gets his genitals cut off and they fly through the air and they get pinned to a tree. It's really it's like, and this is like zero budget gore too, like really budget stuff.
I think now again, like myself and Jen have watched some of these movies, but I wouldn't classify them as horror, and certainly not good horror. But like, if you've watched any of the exploitation movies, you have male characters like getting their meat and veg apparently cut off, and like, you know, again, one guy has a well, it's meant to be a rat, but it's actually a hamster fucking stuffed up his backside, like, you know, so it's like,
Martin
yeah, he got Richard Gere, as Jen said.
Martin,
he
I
got
both
really
just went.
Richard Gere.
we made the exact
terrible
same
story.
Oh god.
What is it? The freaky people call it hamster style.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much tonight.
Yes, I'm learning so much tonight.
I suppose. I'm sorry, you probably want to deviate, but would Salo? Where would Salo fall into the category? Would that be horror? Or would that be like a whole other kettle of
I don't
horror?
even want to think about that movie.
I haven't seen it, but I have want to say art house. I mean, it's not really exploitation, I don't think.
It's kind of, it's an exploration of fascism and the connection between fascism and the bourgeoisie culture in society, and yeah, it's one of those movies that you can look at, and one group of people from one society can look at it as, this is pure exploitation. This is like Beast in Heat. This is like Elsa, She Wolf of the SS. Or you can look at someone else and they'd be like, oh, this should be a Criterion movie. It's like, I think it depends on who watches it. It's certainly not something that easily fits into a box, and rightfully so.
I would, and that's probably the weird categorization on my end. People would, I'm sure everyone's going to disagree, but I would say Salo is art house and Caligula is exploitation.
Oh, look, and I'm with you 100%, Cara, in that regard, because like, you had a segment of that movie directed by Tinto fucking Brass, and it was an actual sex scene. It was a non-simulated sex scene. And you're like, that's exploitation. I still gotta give fucking props to Malcolm McDowell for getting the inspiration totally off the top of his head. He sticks a dandelion up a guy's arse.
Yeah.
No prompting whatsoever. He's like, why should I just put this in here?
Sorry, I'm coming back in 2 seconds. 1 second.
Okay.
She's like, I'm getting out of here. Marty. What are these freaks talking about?
I mean, I'm about to leave. Just like,
I'm sorry. No, that was my doing. That was my doing.
like as soon as someone mentions.
No, I just need to plug my computer in.
No, that's fine. But it's just like, as soon as someone mentions a Serbian film in the chat, I'm just like, we've gone too far.
No. I don't.
Well, it's already happened.
It has.
Reel it back.
But Dice Roland mentions another horror movie with male nudity in it, which is Porno, which came out recently.
Oh yeah, the exploding balls.
If it's new, I haven't seen it.
It's good. I thought that was a really fun movie. Yeah. What is that? What is the woman called referred to as? Like her like what kind of monster is she?
I don't know.
Succubus. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Is
Yeah,
how
the
how old
female
is it? Like,
milkshake thief demon.
what was it? So there was a theory succubi were also
Incubus.
so, sorry, Car?
Incubus? Are you thinking like the male counterpart?
Yeah, the male counterpart, but weren't they all also associated with sleep paralysis? There was the hag that would sit in your
Uh,
chest.
I think so, yeah. And then
Yeah.
you can take it as far back as Lilith and all that
Yeah.
mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find that whole like archetype of like the demon sitting on top of your chest, I think that like it relates to the incubus and the succubus, also to the vampire. Like there's stuff like that in Nosferatu and Carmilla that's very similar.
Yeah.
And then even Freddy Krueger is very much the same type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a what's the thing you have any sleep paralysis demon. Yeah.
Question for you guys. Obviously, at the time it was released, um, Freddy Krueger was the description of his crimes was he was a child killer. Um, Subconsciously, was the audience supposed to realize this character is a child molester? Like the way, or kind of like, sorry, I'm really bad at phrasing questions, but like, do you think Craven wanted to use the term child molester, and the studio was like, no, 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 you got to say child killer? But he kind of framed it in a way that it was kind of obvious Freddy was a deviant to that regard.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Sorry,
I don't
sorry,
know.
Ross.
Yeah.
I'm
mean,
coming at you with a
when I
loaded
was younger, it
question.
totally flew over my head. I just understood child killer and that was it. But if you
Yeah.
remember the first episode of Freddy's Nightmares, they actually do go into it and they call him a molester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he is just like very creepy around his victims, like the tongue phone scene in the original movie. Like that's creepy.
Oh yeah, the tongue.
And then I finally watched Freddy vs. Jason for the first time recently, which really fun movie, but like
Still never seen it. Or I've seen it, but I haven't watched it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It needed more Catherine Isabel was the main problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would have switched out protagonist. I would add Catherine Isabel as the heroine.
Same. But yeah, in that movie, a lot of Freddy's lines are like really uncomfortably sexual, and they're played for laughs in a way they're not like in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and it feels off to me.
Interesting. I mean, I think that also is like as a character goes on, especially if a character like Freddy, they get more and more like shock factor.
Yeah.
So I think that
I found Freddy was the kind of opposite though, because Freddy ended up turning into, dare I say, kind of lampoon of himself, and also like more of a buffoonish, not a buffoonish character, but more a figure of fun rather than figure of terror. I mean, like he's like, I got the power glove. It's like,
I
really
was
lost
thinking
the
Nightmare
essence of the
6.
character.
Especially that scene with the chalkboard, and that was pretty silly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Or the Wile E. Coyote moment where he's rolling that big fucking board of nails onto the side. He's just there pushing away his back, and like, okay, Is this Nightmare on Elm Street movie or Tex Avery cartoon? Like, fucking
Yeah.
help me out here.
I mean, like, I'm actually gonna defend like Freddy's Dead because like it's really cartoonish. Like it's flat out like Looney Tunes bits and like
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz references. But one, I find that stuff fun. Two, I think thematically a lot of their stuff that they're doing works for me. Like it feels like a good send off for the character.
And Antro, even the demon sperm.
Okay, that's a bad effect. But,
I did like the 3D segment towards the end of the film. I always enjoyed that about it.
mm-hmm.
Where he blows up. Yeah, I liked the old 3D. Some of it was like really questionable in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with the yo-yo. Like,
Wait, was Elm Street 3 in 3D?
No. Sorry, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday,
Oh
yeah,
my
Friday
God.
the 13th 3D.
The
Sorry.
egregious Friday the 13th 3D is ridiculous. Like the eye popping out of the head.
That was fun. But why
It's
a
fun.
yo-yo? Why a yo-yo? Look what we can do. Like,
my favorite use of 3D actually is in the original Vincent Price House of Wax that they filmed in 3D. And they've got like the guy outside of the place who's like a carnival barker, but he's got these like 2 ping pong paddles and he's like hitting this ball at the audience. It's really fun.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that was 3D.
Yeah.
I accidentally turned on my camera. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was trying to mute. Hit the wrong button. Don't look at me.
I should have looked up. I didn't even see. No, I'll never
Felicia,
know.
do you think 3D is a gimmick, and do you think any of the horror movies that came out at the time, did they make the most of it, or do you think it was just a gimmick to try and stretch out these kind of franchises?
Oh, I think it's 100% a gimmick. I don't think a lot of people are doing the 3D for the artistic vision necessarily. But I think it's a fun way to see a movie and helps, like, especially like when you're in the third, fourth movie in a franchise, things are getting sloppy, writing's getting rough. You might as well throw in some 3D, little pizzazz.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun. And now I think people are using 3D because of the technology in more of an artistic way. But I mean, when I'm thinking about early 3D, I think it's more like, look what we can do. This is crazy.
The thing is, Felicia, like, if even the fucking remake of My Bloody Valentine,
I was just gonna bring that
came with the blue and red 3D glasses, I was like,
yeah, and it looks ridiculous. Like, it's hilarious. Like, every time there's a 3D moment, it's like, what? It's like, okay. Like, it's fine, but I would still argue very for the gimmick and not necessarily for the sake of the plot or film.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I love the original My Bloody Valentine. The remake's not holding a candle to that, but like when I watched
the original's great.
When I watched that remake, I was like, I'm watching it normally just on my TV, but I'm like, this would be a blast to actually see in 3D. Like every time I see one of those movies, I'm like, on its own, this is okay, but I would love to see this actually in the theater in 3D.
Yeah, especially with like a big crowd.
Yeah,
everyone's like yelling. Like, definitely, like, it's definitely a fun experience, I'm sure.
Antro, is there any horror movie you will never watch because it's either too grotesque or too kind of exploitative or too kind of fucked up?
I have a movies I will never watch list. Like, I have to set that.
What boundary. Is it?
So right off the bat, we got the Serbian film. We got I Spit on Your Grave.
I've seen it, but
yeah,
I would say same if I hadn't already seen it.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
There's definitely Cannibal Holocaust, even though I know there's a cruelty-free version.
Same.
What else? I've thought about watching Last House on the Left before just to be a Wes Craven completionist, but I'm iffy on that one.
It's pretty
It
brutal.
it
It's graphic rape,
Yeah.
so it's
Well, I'd say the remake is harder to watch than the original one, but that's
the
Yeah.
that's
remake's
just me.
even worse.
Yeah, I had to walk out during that scene.
Really? Yeah, it's really scary and makes you sick. So yeah, Martin, maybe a good choice.
Yeah, maybe not that one.
Yeah, I mean the revenge stuff is excellent, but the rape that leads to the revenge is so horrible.
Actually, Antro, I have a way you can watch it and not watch it. Ingrid Bergman's The Virgin Spring, which is based upon with Max von
Yes,
Sydow.
that one's excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch that.
I love
instead.
that one.
That's a fantastic movie.
Gotta look it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one is a really good one.
Yep. And the mayor brings up The Sadness, which Freaky Girls Live is reviewing next month, and I very much do not want to watch.
I watched it. I done a review of it with Jen, and I was kind of okay. It's fucked up. It's don't watch it. I was kind of okay because it is loosely based on Garth Ennis's, and I do mean very loosely based on Garth Ennis's graphic novel Crossed. But I watched it with Jen, and Jen thought it was the most wonderful thing she'd ever seen.
Of course, Jen thought that.
She was like, blood orgy, blood orgy. I'm like, fuck.
I know there are others. There are some others that like I have a little bit of a vendetta against for different reasons than them being too extreme, and I'm just I've thought about watching them again for like reasons of like completion, but haven't. One of them's Lesbian Vampire Killers, the comedy movie.
Oh, Roman Polanski. Yeah,
No, I've seen the Fearless Vampire Killers.
Oh, sorry. Mixed it up. Lesbian. Yeah. That other one is with the fucking idiot that does carpool karaoke, right?
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Sorry about that, Andrew. I got mixed up.
No, that's all right. But yeah. Also, interesting tidbit. One of the actors who's in The Vampire Lovers plays the lead vampire in Fearless Vampire Killers and in what is it? Vampire Happening, which is a really chaotic 70s movie.
Yeah, it's I do think fearless lesbian vampire hunters it is very insensitive.
Yeah.
Towards people who are homosexual.
Yeah.
Especially with the ending, the quote unquote twist ending as well. But that was a bit childish.
Because like I want to watch it as like a Carmilla completionist because one of the vampires is Carmilla, and it's like riffing off of these queer vampire movies that I love so much. But then it's just like these two male protagonists killing lesbian vampires with a sword that's literally shaped like a phallus,
like a dildo.
Funny.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be funny.
You know the other movie like I feel like I can't watch because I didn't see it as a kid. The Jeepers Creepers.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Victor Salva.
Yeah, like because I've never seen it like before. I knew that like everything that went down on that set. It's like now I just can't watch it because I just feel like that's all I would be able to think about, and it would just make me sick to be like supporting it by watching it.
Yeah.
I used to be a big John Landis fan. I absolutely used to adore John Landis. American Werewolf in London, Blues Brothers. I can't watch any of these movies now because of I read a book on the making of the Twilight Zone movie. Those Vic Morrow and those two children should not have died. That was all fucking Landis's fault. Those children shouldn't have been on set in the first place, and it
I think I
sucks.
know what story you're talking about.
There was
Is
a
that
scene.
the Twilight Zone movie?
Yeah, there's a scene that was supposed to be set in Vietnam. Vic Morrow's character
Oh, it was
keeps
the
on.
helicopter thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morrow and another child got decapitated, and the little girl got crushed under the landing strut of a helicopter. Both kids were not members of the union, the actors union. They shouldn't have been on set, and concerns were brought to Landis, and he ignored them and basically told
That's so
one guy
scary.
to fuck off. And it's like, you piece of shit, didn't make it a movie.
Whatever happened with the Alec Baldwin
Oh,
trial movie
that
stuff?
that was Felicia. The outcome. The judge released a statement today. Yeah.
Oh, today? What did he say?
Yeah. He pulled the trigger. He had actually pulled the trigger. Because the whole time Baldwin was saying the gun misfired. The gun misfired. Baldwin said that he had pulled the hammer back and we let go. The hammer had gone forward, which is incredibly rare to happen. But it did transpire. He had they examined the pistol and he had actually pulled the actual trigger on the gun. I don't know what's going to happen now,
Yeah.
but I could see him facing manslaughter charges because of that.
Wow.
That's freaking crazy. Oh, that is bad. That is very sad. Wow, we're talking about such light, happy subjects.
Yeah. Hey, Casey. Interweb Kaiju is in here. Awesome channel.
Felicia, as a horror fan, as a big horror fan, an aficionado of horror, what is one underrated horror that you think more people need to see? Totally underrated.
Oh god, I have no idea. Underrated horror people need to see.
In your opinion, when you're like, you got to check out this movie, or when you're like, when you bring it up, people are like, I've never heard of it, and you're like, what do you mean you've never heard of this?
I need like a minute.
Okay.
I need a
Yeah,
minute to
it's
think.
kind of
Sorry, I don't
hard.
have a good. Yeah, I feel like I need to look at my own film reviews, like my. I feel like I need to look at my YouTube to be like, what have I watched? What do I think? What am I thinking about?
Yep. I have like a specific little like pocket of just movies that I don't think as many people have watched, and I'm just like,
If
do you
you've
have
got a list, go off, Martin.
Yeah. I mean, the one that I managed to force into every single conversation I have is Anna in the Apocalypse.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Like my obsession with that movie, if you'll excuse me for a moment.
Yeah, Dice, I checked out Phantom of Paradise because you.
Oh, that's a good movie too. I think The Empty Man is a good movie that didn't get a lot of buzz.
I'm going to be watching The Empty Man pretty soon because I finally got HBO Max. So I watched The Night House for the first time not too long ago.
Oh, good. What'd you think?
I loved it. It was a perfect movie.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
My favorite scene though, like at the very beginning of the movie, is when Rebecca Hall is like the teacher and like the mom comes in and she's like, something's wrong with my student's grade, whatever. And then she just like changes the kid's grade. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Say that again.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a great movie.
I zoned out. I zoned out. I missed what you said.
It's okay. It's okay.
Something about changing a grade.
Oh yeah, that's that scene. Wow.
Yes. That scene I thought was like insanely great acting.
That was like I wanted to curl up in a ball during that scene. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Andrew, have you watched Jeremy Gillespie's The Void yet?
The Void?
Yeah.
It's also on my list, but I haven't yet.
I fucking adore that movie. Like it's obviously it's a Lovecraftian kind of themed movie, but it's a love letter to body horror movies of the 80s. John Carpenter's The Thing. There's bits of Hellraiser. There's bits of The Beyond with the characters in the end. It's just a fucking brilliant movie, and I will sing its praises till the cows come home.
All right. Again, my love for Anna and the Apocalypse is so great that one, I own the novelization. Which,
Nice.
Amazing.
How do you novelize a musical? They tried.
Found a way.
They found it's very interesting, and it like includes scenes that got cut from the final version of the movie, so it's definitely different, and like the characterizations are a little bit different, and it's like they add it's really weird tonally because they like take out the swearing but add in a scene where John pees on a zombie. So
Okay.
yeah. I also own the soundtrack on vinyl.
Vinyl, nice.
Gorgeous. That's great.
And the vinyl itself has a little blood spatter pattern.
Oh, fine. I love
Sweet.
that. I thought of
Okay.
one.
Oh yeah?
A movie that I really loved that I think more people should see. Maybe everybody saw it. It's like I don't know what's actually underrated. Cam. It's a really good one.
Oh, I hear good things about Cam.
Cam is
When
excellent.
did it come out, Felicia?
I don't know. My guess is like 2018 or something.
Okay, so it's not too old.
No, but it's like about this girl that does like chat room like stuff. What do you call that?
Cam girls?
Cam girl. Duh, it's called Cam. She's a cam girl. And it was written by a cam girl, and it's a horror movie, and it is like so shocking and surprising and trippy at times, and really good. Highly recommend.
I'll check it out.
Excellent. And to Jacques' question, so the songs become poems. Most of the songs get cut because they don't make sense. Like one of the characters just says like offhandedly no such thing as a Hollywood ending at one point instead of there being the whole song. But like what's his name?
I'm sure you could pick up like a version of a script book with all the lyrics and words and stuff as well.
I would love that. What I'm really bummed about is the only like uncut version of the movie, like the non-theatrical cut, like the festival and director's cut, is only a Region B release. Yeah. So
I suppose because it is a UK-based movie.
It is a UK-based movie, but I know myself and a bunch of other people would pay really good money for like a Region Free or Region A release of that movie. And instead I'm probably gonna have to buy a $100 Region Free Blu-ray player and replace the one I already have just to watch the uncut version of my favorite movie.
My god, that's dedication.
Yeah.
You could try and find it via alternative means.
Yeah, but I also want to like these.
You want to fund the movie. You want to contribute to the movie. I understand that as well. Question for you, because I'm going to go in a flash because it's coming up on it's 2:45 now.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well,
when it hits 3 for you, I'm probably gonna end the stream. But if you need to head out before that, if you're like,
no, I'll knock about for 15. I'll knock about for 15 more minutes.
Okay, it's up to you. If you're tired, believe me, I get it.
I'll survive. I'll survive. Question for you, right? Actually, more of a challenge or a project for you, right? Because you are almost thespian in the way you present yourself. You
Oh,
are, oh, you're very kind of a showman kind of thing.
Theatrical.
Would you consider doing an audio kind of drama of an Anne Rice story with yourself
hmm.
as a character and other people from the community voicing other characters? Would you do that? Which story would you do, and what characters would you, who from the community would you have voice characters, or who of your friends would you have voice characters?
Oh, that's tricky. Uh, I think so. For one thing, I absolutely would do that because a while back I took a creative writing class at my school that was creative writing for the digital age. So it was,
Hmm.
um, you know, creative nonfiction stories, poems, but then also like comic books and podcasts. So I had to create a podcast, and I did
Hmm.
a audio drama version of one of my short stories and got some of my friends in on it. So
That's
I
fun.
did use Audacity to edit that together because that's what they provided for us, and that was painful. But
Oh, Audacity is like trying to use that as like pulling out your fucking fingernails.
oh,
It's been the
believe me,
whole
I
thing.
know it was. I made it work, but ow. Um, but yeah, as to what Anne Rice story I would do, I think doing Tale of the Body Thief would be really funny because that one's a body swap story, and because it's only audio, it would be harder to do.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't pick any of the Vampire Chronicles.
Well, no, Tale of the Body Thief is one of the Vampire Chronicles. It's the one where Lestat switches bodies with Immortal. Uh,
What?
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, he has to learn how to pee after centuries again.
Wow. And Rice, really thinking.
Yeah, yeah, but it is really this interesting kind of meditation on like uh Lestat's so fed up with being a vampire and he so desperately wants to be human. And as soon as he becomes human again, the only thing he wants is to be a vampire again. Like
Hmm.
like if the
Yeah.
first book is about like rediscovering the whole world through the lens of a vampire, Tale of the Body Thief is about being a vampire and then rediscovering the world as a human again.
That's
so
interesting.
it's essentially a grass is always greener story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I the only thing is, I could see you doing Louis. I could not see you. You're too nice, I think, to voiceless that.
Really.
I think so.
I mean, like,
You're
I appreciate that you think my personality is too nice, but I'd love to play a villain. I'd love
okay.
to play a
Okay.
villain.
I'm not doubting your capability of that. It's just when I think of a character, it's Louis. It's not
Am I
Lestat.
that am I
Although
am I
I
that
which is
self-loathing?
which is absolute bollocks considering I gave you the moniker of Lestat in the hat.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bomb off because it's 10 to 3.
Do we want to just
Oh,
wrap up? I mean,
We can just wrap up.
how do we
Um,
feel?
Yeah, we could.
yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to talk about before we go.
I do not go ending the fucking stream because of me.
No.
I'm serious.
No,
Fucking
no, for sure. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. Does anybody else have upcoming projects they want to promote before they go, though?
I'm going to be doing my top most dangerous Yautja hunters. That's predators for the uninitiated. Just doing a ranking of that. And Jane, I promised her that we do it, and we're going to do it. We're going to do a terrible, terrible Western, pornographic Christian Western called Redeeming Love. Work that one out if you will. I'm not joking. It's about a whore with a heart of gold who gets her father off.
Why does
Oh.
movie exist?
I don't know, but I started biting my fingers during the description.
Yeah, it's honest to God. You think that's bad? Jen gave me a blow by blow account of what happens in the movie, and I'm like, oh Christ, Jesus! But
So
yeah,
we'll
we're
look forward to
gonna be doing a
that.
review of that.
Oh, Marty, are you going to be? Did you ever do that Pokemon movie?
I will do Strokemon at one stage. I owe people a review of Strokemon. I'm just trying because I watched Christian showed me a clip of it, and everyone just looks like in that movie. Everyone looks like they're riddled with STIs. They're just like fucking hepatitis galore. Honest to God, Pikachu is just Dickachu. That's their name. Dickachu
Hate
just
it.
looks like they need to visit a doctor pronto. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. Oh, God damn it.
Felicia, do you have anything you want to promote?
Come to Horror Movie Club tomorrow. See Martin again.
Yeah.
We're talking about Fright Night and the Vampire Lovers, which I will watch in about 5 minutes from now.
Excellent. Kara, I know you're kind of taking a break right now, but
Yeah.
is there anything of yours that you like to promote, even if it's earlier stuff, something you think people should check out?
The only thing I can really think of is I'm getting back into live streaming. I'm out of practice, so I'm really rusty, but I've been trying to do that every Saturday, so we'll see how that works out. It's super random, so I just kind of announce it last minute usually. Way to
All right.
promote myself. Woo!
You're doing it, and you're live streaming now, so you're great.
Yep. I have in the pipeline, I'm going to be on Felicia's channel tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. I am currently in the middle of editing 3 different videos that I still need to post. One is a review of The Abominations of Frankenstein, which is a really cool, more recent take on the Frankenstein story. One is a review of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, which is kind of a pirate adventure graphic novel. And a review of that Blackbeard miniseries I mentioned earlier.
Cool.
Amazing.
Busy.
Yeah. But yeah, that is everything I have to say. Thank you to everybody who showed up. It's been a wonderful turnout tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.